some warm clothes, etc. And do keep an eye on forecasts all throughout the week as well, just in case that does change. But of course, even if it did change, you guys would be prepared anyway. Okay, let's talk about the trail. Now, of course, on the trail, it's just a bit of etiquette. Of course, it's going to be congested in some areas, especially some of the areas where it's going to be small fire trails or you're crossing a small bridge or something like that. Particularly early on in the event where people are sort of leaving at exactly the same time. The trail obviously tends to sort of, the walk is spread out across the event, so you'll get less congestion as you go on. Some etiquette, please give way to faster teams. For those faster teams, please call out that you are a faster team wishing to pass. It sounds like you're showing off, but you're not. You're just simply saying, hey guys, I just want to pass. It just means it's very clear that that's what you're trying to do. For the slower teams, make sure, just when it's safe, pop yourself off to the side, let them run on by. Take care when passing, of course, tripping hazards, etc. Make sure you're safe when you're off to the side in the trail. Don't throw yourself into the bush to get out of the way. Just, place yourself. All right. Along the trail, you'll notice there'll be some trail marshals in vests along the way. They are great for motivation. They're also there for your safety. So they're positioned at specific locations along the trail, 26 locations for this event. And they're located at some of the riskier road crossings or particular intersections that we think are a little bit hazardous or perhaps likely for people to take the wrong turn. Where they're there to really supervise road crossings, make sure you're safe, provide encouragement, and some of the trail marshals will be out there with some chocolate as well, so watch out for them. These guys, the unofficial Trailwalker cheer squad, which I'm sure you'll all appreciate if you've done it before, and I have. I know exactly what it feels like to have them encouraging you along, and they're usually very outgoing, very encouraging. So, give them a thank you, give them a smile. They really do help out during the course of the event, and they might have been sitting somewhere at the top of a mountain in the cold for 4 hours and it's 4 a.m. So, a bit of appreciation goes a long way. Both ways, obviously. One of the other things to talk about is these things, trail markers. You probably saw them on your way in, along the rail as you came down the stairs. It's well marked, just overall, the trail is well marked with these along the way, about approximately every 100 metres. It is no substitute, of course, for your own event map book, so do bring that along with you. While it is well marked, we don't know what's going to happen between the 48 hours that we mark it and that you guys go through that same trail. Someone could take it down, high winds, blow it off, anything could happen. They'll be placed along the bush trail, even in some of the urban areas. So the more confusing the area, the more trail markers you'll see. The reason I mention that is just because I don't want you counting these markers as you go along thinking that's 100 metres, that's 100 metres, that's 100 metres. Don't count down, they are not accurate sort of indications of the distance walked. If you haven't seen a trail marker and you've been walking for a while, by that laughing reaction, chances are you're lost. You've gone off, walked in the wrong trail. Just refer back to your map book, and if you're having issues, there's a number for you to call on your bibs. Give them a call if you really can't find your way around. But the chances are, if you haven't, please do stop and sort of make that call, get out your event map book and see what's going on. The trail markers are also, you might have noticed, individually numbered. This is a simple and effective way for us to sort of locate you in the case of an emergency. If you do get in trouble, or somebody in your team or somebody that you notice on the trail does get in trouble, you can call the emergency phone number to make sure that you know the nearest sort of trail marker number. If you read that out to us, we'll be able to locate, not pinpoint, but very close to where you are on the section and get some services out to you. They will be fixed in visible places, so they should be easily visible for you. They're also reflective, so if you have your headlights, which you will, of course, every single one of you, or hand torch. They will reflect in the middle of the night. Okay, some other markings that we'll be putting up throughout the event. In addition to the trail markers, you'll notice red directional arrows. These will be placed at confusing junctions on the trail, just to make sure you're going in the right direction. Like I said, you've got your vet map book, but this just helps you along the way. In suburban areas to show the route of where you're going, turning down the streets, etc. There'll be also other signage out on the trail as well. Things to say like you're halfway, for example, that kind of thing. Make sure you are familiar with the last section specifically. Many people get confused around Mount Little-J. In fact, I had a couple of teams email me just this week letting me know that they got lost out there, so please do familiarise yourself there. We'll be marking it very clearly on the event weekend and have trail markers out there for the turn-off points, but please do be very familiar with it. Markings are critical. Yeah, critical. For the safety of the event, for you guys, for the guys walking behind you, don't remove them by any means. If you do want them as a keepsake, we'll be selling them at the end of the event. You can pick one up, but they're out there specifically for the safety of yourselves and the walkers around you as well. Just a couple of team safety tips. In fact, one of the things is always stay together as a team. It's a rule, so we don't want you sort of walking apart from your team. I mean, if you want to walk a few meters apart, that's fine, as long as you're in visible distance. Someone may have really irritated you for a moment, you just need some space, that's cool. Just make sure they're visible to you. That's as much as we ask, and it is for your safety. Walk to the pace of your slowest team member, so don't leave them behind, but it's a proven fact that this team member will have higher spirits if you're walking with them and actually go a little faster overall. You don't want them being demotivated and dropping out of the event or slowing your team overall. Even if you feel like you want to go faster, you're better off walking with them and motivating them to walk faster. Give way to faster walkers as soon as it is safe to do so. Just another note about that. In the case of an emergency, your mobile phone is your way of contacting help out there on the trail. We do ask that 2 different networks are required for good coverage along the trail. Just because if one network drops out, you'll have the other mobile phone and hopefully that has network. Remember to make sure that they are fully charged before the event as well. Speaking of contacting for help in an emergency, while out on the trail, please call the emergency number that is the bottom of your bib. This comes through to the event control centre where we sort of take care of everything on the event. One of the questions they'll ask you is that question I spoke about earlier about where is your nearest trail marker number, so that we can get out to you if we need to. You can put that number in your phone right now, if you have it. That 1300 number, it's not going to change. It's going to be the number that you're going to require during the course of the event. So I might give you 30 seconds on that same screen there. If you can't call through to that number for whatever reason, call the 000 number and let them know that you're participating in the Oxfam Trailwalker event. The reason I say call the 000 number and let them know that you're participating in this event is because they'll be well informed that this event is on, so that they can get back in contact with us. It allows them to sort of, they don't have that specialist knowledge of where the trail is, they can get in contact with us. And if your phone carrier is out of range, call 112 and that will pick up on any phone carrier. Oh, one of the other things that I just missed there is never, never, ever leave an injured person alone. The reason for that is, of course, for safety. If you leave them alone, anything could happen, and actually feels like if you've ever been in that kind of situation before, it drags out that experience by a lot more. You feel lonelier, much more unsafe. Just stick with them, call through the emergency numbers, we'll get to you. Okay, speaking about the Event Control Centre, it's operational for all of the duration of the event. In fact, it's open before the event and will stay open post the event as well. We track all the teams from the Event Control Centre. We have, there we are. We have representatives in the Event Control Centre from the Vic Police, Vic Ambulance, SES, CFA, MSAR, our first aid provider, as well as staff members and volunteers from Oxfam Australia. In the field, we have emergency response teams. We have a Vic Ambulance response crew, as well as a first aid response crew out there as well. The reason why we have a whole bunch of them inside the Event Control Centre is that they can directly deploy help and are familiar with the event for your safety. We also have the SES, like I said, and CFA waiting to help out there on the trail so they can liaise with our Event Control Centre and send it out to the nearest location. Some safety protocols. At every checkpoint, you will find that there is a check-in and a check-out desk. This does not include the rest stop, which is at the Warburton and Golf Club. There will be no check-in and check-out desk. But for every checkpoint, including the finish, there's a check-in and check-out desk. You must check in and out as a team. Now, when you check in, if you are planning to leave right away, feel free to check in and out. You'll be asked this by the check-in operators. But if you are planning to stay at the checkpoint, please don't check out. Check out only when leaving the checkpoint. The reason for that is you could mill about for an hour. We'll think you're out on the trail somewhere, and if we need to get to you, we'll think you're out on the trail. It's just so we can accurately track where you are. It also helps us give you accurate team times as to where, how long, and how far you've travelled, how long it's taken you to do certain sections. If there is an individual retiring from your team, tell the check-in and check-out volunteers. You'll be issued with a retirement sticker to place on one of the continuing walkers' bibs. If you we won't let you walk on if you have less than 3 members of the team, so if 2 of you retire, but what we will do is if you have 2 people retire, we'll join you up with another team to walk. Now, it is important that you don't have to walk with them all the way to finish, but you will have to stick with them for the next session until you get to the next checkpoint, at which point we can put you with another team if you need to. But it is important that you're with them and walking with them, because we want at least 3 walkers in a team. Lovely. You have 48 hours, of course, to complete the event. You have to check out. Again, a reminder, you have to check out before that checkpoint closes. Please check the map book for the closing times, but like I said, you can ask on the day as well. As a safety system, our database picks up if you don't arrive at the next checkpoint within what we have considered as a safe walking time, a time frame. We will then call you to see if you're okay. Or if we don't get through to you, we'll get through to your support crew. If we don't get through to them, we'll get to your emergency contacts. Now, if you are in the red, as denoted there, we will make that call. Now, one of the reasons why you do want to check out only when you're leaving checkpoint is because if you've gone, checked in and out, and you've gone off for a sleep somewhere, we'll think you're out on the trail, and you don't want to be called at 3 a.m. in the morning to be woken up while you're resting. Just make sure you let us know. You can check your own progress, by the way, at the information desk at any of the public checkpoints as well, if you want to know your team place, etc. It's probably only appropriate for the faster teams. Okay, we've got an environmental audit that we're running for this year's event. Audited against the ISO standards 20121 event sustainability. We aim to beat the 2015 efforts. We're measuring a large number of different things: fuel use, water usage, kilometres driven, waste produced, many other aspects. One of the things that we ask you to hand in at the start is a little bit of a questionnaire, so that adds and feeds into this as well. Please play your part, minimise your waste, carpool to the start if you can, to reduce car use. Onto waste management. What a segue. As you will appreciate, an event of this scale can produce a lot of waste, tons of it in fact. There are some things that we can't cut out, like the generators, like the lights, like some of the heating things, because they're there for your safety. But what we can, we'd like to, some of the things that we can do, of course, is by using a reusable cup. Last year at Trailwalker Sydney, we were able to also achieve zero waste contamination. So in terms of contamination of waste from the recycling and the garbage, there was zero. We have a bit of a friendly rivalry going on, so we can't best it, we can't beat that, 0%, it's pretty hard to beat. But we would like to match them this year, so please be wary of that while you're at the checkpoints to make sure you are chucking it in the correct area. Please ask your support crews again to be careful with the rubbish as well, because they'll be likely doing the rubbish trips for you. You probably won't be wanting to walk 50 metres, 20 metres to that rubbish bin. You'll probably send your support crew, just let them be aware of that. Okay, it's not a pretty picture, but it is something that we need to talk about. Every single one of us. Talking of waste, don't poo on the trail, guys. Don't poo on the trail. I can't stress that enough.